Hola, mi gente. It's Tuesday, March 18, 2025, and we are doing an episode on witchcraft. Difficult. Is the subject difficult? Yes, it is, because you can go all over the place. I've already done an episode on witchcraft in French. You can watch it if you can speak French, if you can understand French. And yeah, it's very, very difficult to talk about the subject without BSing, without imagining stuff. It's very, very difficult to talk about witchcraft without falling in the trap of just being insulting and not being serious. I'm going to give you an example. One of the first papers that I did in English when I came to the US, I was 14 in 10th grade. And I was taking this class on religion, and we were studying voodoo, and I chose to do a paper on a subject. You had to do at least one paper by trimesters. So I chose voodoo. And my English wasn't that good. I could barely read well in English. So what I did, because I can write, I think I can write. I've written some books. I basically wrote a paper where I imagined stuff. I told stories. I told tales. And the teacher, because she knew that I was from Africa, from Cameroon, believed all of my stories because they were well written and because they were well told. She just believed them. I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about voodoo, nothing about witchcraft. I just told stories. I put some quotes to show that I've read some books on the subject matter, and I just told tales that I'd imagined, and the teacher gave me an A. So that shows you that people on that subject feels that it's about whatever, as long as it sounds fantastical. It's Harry Potter shit. J.K. Rowling did a very good job to basically take the bite out of witchcraft. She made it very, very childlike. Why do I talk about witchcraft? Because in the context, in the environment where I was born, witchcraft plays a significant role. It doesn't mean that it's real. Me, my belief, but it's a personal belief, is that witchcraft isn't something that is all powerful. I think that it's very, very psychological, but nevertheless, it is impossible to really tell you more about me without talking about witchcraft. I'm not sure if I told this in an episode in English already. For example, my disability. I became disabled when I was 1 month old. My disability, my dad, my father, and my grandmother always believed that it was witchcraft. They were Christian. My dad became a Catholic, probably, during his teen years. My grandmother also. So my dad and my grandmother were pious Catholic, but they still had their local beliefs. They still believe in the local tradition, and witchcraft had something to do with my disability. They didn't believe that it was something from the outside. They believed it was something from the inside, that somebody within the family did something. It's always the inner circle. If you read Peter Geschiere book, Witchcraft, Intimacy and Trust, the title tells you everything that you need to know about what is at the heart of witchcraft. It's about intimacy. It's about trust. See, as Peter Geschiere explained in his book, to be able to do witchcraft on somebody, you need to get into his inner circle. So somebody has to let you in. We know somebody has to open the door, open the window. It's a little bit like in those, vampire movies. You have to invite the vampire in. If you don't, nothing is going. He can't come in. It's the same thing, according to Peter Geschiere, and I believe him, with witchcraft. It always has to do with intimacy and trust. Somebody from the outside that you don't know, it's almost impossible for him to do something through witchcraft to you. He has to get close to you. Otherwise, he can't do it. It doesn't work that way. According to Peter Geschiere, and he's the one who has done the research, that's the way it works. So in my family, in my dad's family, as I've told you before, my dad, Fotso Victor, had a lot of wives, was very, very grounded within his village, and he became a chief, not the king, but the chief. So he's very, very grounded with the within traditions. He never believed it was something that came from the outside. He never believed that it was meant to be. He believed that something, that somebody did something to make me disabled. I come to this world with that belief that other people have, that this is not natural. Do I believe that? No, because honestly, whether it's true or not, I don't think it helps me to believe that I'm disabled because somebody did something to me. It doesn't help. You have to believe what helps you. If something doesn't help you, if something paralyzes you, what's the point in believing in that thing? So that's my relationship with witchcraft. It's out there, but acknowledging, thinking, even wondering whether has the power to change my life or my destiny or fate or whatever, I think let's whoever can use that in. I've had moments in my life when I felt that something weird was happening, that something unnatural was happening. Yes, but I've always stopped myself from going there. My first encounter with witchcraft, is of course with my dad's family and the woman who gave birth to me when we were kids, when somebody came from the village of her mother and she was saying that there were some things that somebody had planted in the house. She basically came to find what was buried in the house and did what needed to be done. The woman who gave birth to me believed that it was crap. It was, African, old, and passe believe. She didn't want to believe, but this old lady, she was very, very old, came and started doing it. And there was a lot of weird things. There was no way. Um, Somebody could have come in the house the night before and just buried the thing. There was bones, stuff like that. Does it mean that what she found had consequences on the people who were living there, including me, lives? I don't think so. I don't think there's a correlation between the fact that people are doing things, that they think that by putting stuff in your house or by going to a witch doctor and asking them to bewitch you, to kill you, or whatever, that it means that it's going to happen. But I think here the intention matters and what they believe matter. One of the best movies about witchcraft, it's not a good movie, but it's a good movie about witchcraft. It makes you understand how psychological all of this is. And the title of the movie actually tells you everything. But with Martin Sheen from The West Wing, very good actor. So the title of the movie is The Believers. He's a psychologist. His wife has just died. He has a small boy. They go to New York and child killings start happening and whatever. And he gets threatened by people who believe in Santeria. Santeria is a mixture of African, but it's mostly South American, but I think it has African origins. Yeah. In the movie, there's weird stuff happening. And the doctor is fighting all of those guys. They kill his dogs. There's all type of weird shit. Forgive my French. So he has a new girlfriend who gets threatened. It's very, very messy. The people who do Santeria are very, very threatening. It's very, very dark. It's a very, very Western take on Santeria. At the end of the movie, and after everything has calmed down, he goes to his um house. I think they live in the farm, and he goes to one of the places in his house because there are flies everywhere. He sees like dead animal with Santeria stuff. I think they are insulting people who believe that Santeria is a religion. And he realizes that his girlfriend, who has become his wife, who's pregnant, I think, um, has basically started doing all of those rituals to try to protect them against the people who were doing witchcraft. He looks at her and she says, they were never going to leave us alone. She starts doing witchcraft to protect herself. That's the movie. But is it witchcraft when you do something to protect yourself? In my opinion, no. That's something else. I think if you, it's a little bit like going to church. If you do, I don't know, you kill, I'm not gonna say a dog. You kill like a chicken, for example, um, and talk to your ancestors. You do, rituals. Those are African religion, old, non-Western religion. It's not really witchcraft. You ask for protection. You don't really threaten anybody. In that movie, that's what the wife does. But the guy is thinking, oh my God, she put us within that. Now I'm a part of it. Witchcraft, intimacy, and trust. All the elements are there. But is that witchcraft? How do you fight it? That's the question. Once you are fighting, once you have people who are using witchcraft to do bad things to you, or they think that it's possible by using witchcraft to do bad things to you, how do you react? That's what the movie is about. How do you do it? Do you get into it? Do you remain stoic by saying, I don't believe in that. I'm just going to do my thing. I'm going to go to the police. How do you do that? In that movie, there are very, very threatening scenes. And I think the wife basically said, okay, I'm going to play that game and do something. She killed an animal, which isn't right, but I don't think that's witchcraft. But anyway, for me, when this lady comes to the woman who gave birth to me's house and starts digging everywhere, she finds all types of weird stuff. She finds clothing, wrapped into weird, uh weird stuff. It's very, very disgusting and it's buried deep, very, so there's no way that somebody just came and did it and that I didn't see most of it. I was too young. What do? You can say it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna do anything about it. It's their belief. It's not gonna affect me. But I think that when people are willing to do that, whether it affects you or not, it shows their intent. It shows that they're willing to kill you. It shows that they have ill will towards you. Can you just ignore that? No. What do you do? People usually, when they don't want to do get involved, starts become very, very religious. They go to see a priest. Priests in Africa, in Cameroon, for example, a lot of them believe in traditions. A lot of them believe in witchcraft. A lot of them, like in The Exorcist, believe in exorcism. They believe in those type of things. They come and they deal with those type of things. I don't believe in witchcraft. I don't want to believe in witchcraft. I think it will be very, very dangerous for me to believe in witchcraft. But what do you do? How do you engage? Or don't you? You act as if it doesn't exist when everything around you tells you that people, in your dad's family, that your half siblings, that your dad's, wives are doing witchcraft. Everything, even the way he dies, shows you that. I'm not saying cause and effects. I'm not saying that because it exists, it means that it is causing, it is doing something. No, but I'm saying that it's something that exists. In Cameroon, witchcraft is condemned by the law. The law in Cameroon acknowledges that witchcraft exists. It doesn't say that the law doesn't say that witchcraft leads to something, but recognizes that witchcraft exists. Even during colonial time, they knew that it existed. It isn't a matter of just othering Africa, trying to make it seem as if it, it is all witchcraft, and that witchcraft isn't human. that witchcraft explains everything. It just means that the reality here is different. You can't deal well with that reality if you don't acknowledge that locally that has a huge part. You always have to differentiate witchcraft from custom, from tradition, from animism in old African religion that are as old as Western religions. That is not it. Witchcraft always has to do with the invisible, which magic, is it always done for the bad? That's a question. Yeah, recently, Niente, I've had a lot of information. The dilemma is always, what do you do with the information? What do you do when people tell you stories about what they think, what they say has been done to you? They come with pictures, in some cases with voice messages, they come with videos, and then what do you do? Do you say, oh, no, it doesn't matter? Do you say, okay, I now understand that people don't wish me well. What's the next step? Do you do what Martin Sheen in The Believers did? Do you start doing stuff to protect yourself? What do you do? Me, for now, I'm reading books. I'm talking about it, and I keep going back to what my grandmother and what my dad believed about my disability. And I'm thinking, in a way, I feel trapped. Me and thing. I have to admit that. What do you do? What do you do? How do you fight people who are willing to go to that extreme? It doesn't matter here whether it works or not. What matters is that some people, many of which, share your blood. You share a parent. You may even share two parents. You have this intimacy, this bond that makes the witchcraft possible. What do you do with this information? What do you do? Me, I'm choosing to be as stoic as possible. I'm refusing to believe that this can um, change my life. I'm choosing to believe that I'm still in control, that I'm the one in control, and that there's something else. I'm not going to say God, but that there are not the deciders here. They're not the deciders, and that all they can do is to play with your mind and force you to believe, to become a believer. I'm saying I'm not going to become a believer of witchcraft. I know it exists. It may have some impact. And my dad wrote a book where he talked about a snake, what he called a mystical snake, serpent mystique in French, stuff like that. But even with that, even though he believed that those things happened, he always said there's no magic in life. There's no way that you can become wealthy. You can get to where you want to go without working for it. There's no way. No matter how how many times you go to see a witch doctor or somebody who has, magical powers, if you don't work, it's not gonna work. If you don't, if you don't have it, if you're not working on it, it's not gonna happen. He believed that people could do bad things, but he always said to me, the only thing I can do about it is to believe in God and to say to myself that there's a higher power out there, and that it isn't going to let anything happen to me if I remain a good person and avoid hurting people. Witchcraft isn't as exotic, as mystical, as othering as it is meant to be. And I think that's the criticism of that movie, which got the psychological um, aspect of witchcraft right. The dilemma that you have once you realize people are willing to go that far. How do you deal with that? They're willing to make sacrifices, human sacrifices, go very, very far. How do you deal with that? Do you say to yourself, or do you say, I have to take that into consideration, but what? The girlfriend who becomes the wife in the believers eventually says, okay, I'm going to fight fire with fire. But is it a good solution though? And by fighting fire with fire, don't you let other things come in? Don't you open the window, as Peter Geschiere would say? I don't know. Me, with the knowledge that witchcraft exists in the environment where I was born, what I'm choosing to do is to talk about it. Talk about it as much as possible and say that it isn't going to have the impact that they think it's going to have. It may delay some things because people are always very good at sabotage. You don't need witchcraft to um, hurt somebody. You don't need it. But the fact that you're using it, that you think that it has that impact shows that you're willing to do other things. I think that's that's what has impact. It shows your intent. And here intent matters. Intent matters. It shows how far you're willing to go. So me, Miente, I'm choosing to say no. But being very, very mindful to make a distinction between African beliefs. When I say African, I'm not trying to be all encompassing. I'm very much aware that it is very, very different from Cameroon to Congo to Ghana to Nigeria, from tribes to tribe is very, very different. But to be say that Africans have had their own religion, and that even though now many of them are Catholics, Muslims, or whatever, those beliefs still remain, and you can't just say it's witchcraft. No, witchcraft is still it's the same as everywhere. Magical, invisible, trying to affect negatively or positively something by bargaining, by invoking all type of stuff. Does it work? I don't think it matters. Here, what is essential is the belief. Are you a believer or not? And if you're a believer, I think then we all know that what you believe make what you believe makes your reality. Yeah. So I'm choosing, Miente, not to believe in witchcraft. But what do you do with the knowledge that weird stuff are happening around you? I'm choosing to talk about it as loudly as possible without being afraid of being seen as weird. That's the key. To refuse to shut up about it. To refuse to just put it under the carpet and not talk about it. I'm choosing to talk about it. And I will keep on talking about it. Witchcraft, the light, refusing obscurity is a good way when you know that people are believing in it to fight it, to address it, and to say, no, I am not going to be silent about what you're doing. And I refuse to let you play with my psyche. And I refuse to believe that you can't affect my life. You're not the deciders. There is a higher power. Yeah, mi gente. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll see each other on Thursday. Follow the channel. Let me know how I'm doing and on reste ensemble.